Hey everybody. So I have been on this quest to find the best insole for shoes, specifically tennis shoes, because that's the my primary hobby these days. So insoles, every sneaker, every shoe comes with insoles. Most of the insoles that come with shoes are kind of like this, thin, flimsy piece of foam. These are pretty new, so they're still pretty, thick, but no matter hours or days, this foam will flatten out and provide zero cushioning. The arch support here is non-existent. It's shaped, sure, but it'll provide kind of zero support as soon as any weight is pushed down in here. So these are kind of the stock insoles that come with sneakers, and they are pretty much garbage. So there are tons of over-the-counter orthotics being made, orthotics insoles, kind of the same thing. I've purchased a few over the last year or so to deal with some nagging foot injuries and ankle injuries I've had during that time. And I'm just going to go through some of them, share my experience with them. I'm by no means a foot doctor, so don't take this as medical advice. This is just my experience and kind of what I felt on court with some popular insoles. First one, these are the Powerstep Pinnacles. These are very highly regarded by this guy on YouTube called Zach the Foot Doctor. I like these at first. They provided decent cushioning, but it has since worn down, so now they're pretty stiff. You can see here the arch support is pretty high, so if you don't like that high arch feeling, you're not going to like these because it'll kind of make your foot feel like it is kind of tilted this way in your shoe, which can be unnatural. I like the heel cup a lot. It supports your heel, locks it down, and it feels really nice inside a shoe. And there's a good bit of rigidity here. You can barely bend it. There's a stiff piece of plastic inside this thing, so it provides a good deal of torsional rigidity, and which is good for sports. So overall, pretty good. Durability, not so great. Cushioning wore down very quickly, and if you have a flatter arch, this might not be good for you. These cost $25 when I bought them about a year ago. They're up to $45 now, and I don't know if I would buy these for $45. That's kind of expensive for something that did not last very long. Next up, the Move Game Days. Now there are two versions of these made by Move, Game Days and Game Day Pros, and I think there's a third version now called the Game Day, I think All Days or something like that. So this is the middle of the line one. It costs $45 compared to the $60 of the Game Day Pros. The only difference between the Pros and these are that the Pros have a more stiff shank here, and I think maybe it's thicker with a higher arch, something like that. You go to the website, check it out. But these are real nice. Similar to the Powersteps, they have a really nice contoured heel over here. These have been proven to be more durable than, but the cushioning has been more durable than the Powerstep. So I've worn these for many months now, and the cushioning and the foam here is still pretty good. The arch is not as high as the Powerstep, so these, they claim, fit 85% of all feet. And for me, they fit my foot very well. They feel very natural. There is a rigid shank going from the heel to the midfoot that isn't as rigid as the Powersteps, but they do provide some snapback and some extra support. And there's a cutout at the heel so that when you kind of heel strike, it doesn't feel overly harsh. So that this purple foam here is exposed and it's quite soft and plush. Overall, I like these quite a bit. Like I said, $45, and I would probably buy these again. Right now, they're probably my favorite. Okay. Next up, these are the FP Insole Gamechangers. I'll have the full name below. They make a lot of different ones. These are very different from the other two that I've reviewed. When these came to me, they were perfectly flat. The instructions said to put them in the oven at 200 degrees or 250 degrees, bake them for a few minutes, and then put them in my shoes and walk around in them. They're supposed to mold to your foot, similar to custom orthotics that you can get from a podiatrist that involve kind of like, plaster mold and fancy things like that. But these cost $40, and you kind of get a similar custom molded experience for a fraction of the cost. So, as you can see, they started out flat, but these are no longer flat. These are molded to the exact shape of my foot. Kind of neat. The one thing though that I don't like too much, this foam is not, I don't even know how to explain it. It is so dense. It barely gives when you press on it. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. It is very firm feeling. Now these are the 3mm version. They also make a 5mm version, which is I think a little bit more cushioned and not as firm as this perhaps. They came with these little kind of pads you can put in your forefoot to kind of make things a little less harsh. But in terms of cushioning, these are not very good. You know, they have all these videos about dropping bowling balls on these and, you know, the bowling ball doesn't bounce or something. So it's good at absorbing shock. But, you know, just from personal experience, this foam is super dense. It makes for a kind of a rough tennis playing experience. And yeah, I don't know. I want to try the 5mm thick versions. These 3mm thick ones are rather rather harsh and not good for sports, in my opinion. They do have something rigid in here, and they are kind of stiff, so that's good too. And like I said, the custom nature of these makes them real nice. I put these in my dress shoes actually, and I wear these to work almost every day. They make my dress shoes feel great. So maybe more suited for casual use as opposed to sports. Next and last, these are the Remind insoles. These they make a billion different versions, but these are the Cush Impact 4mm. I got these this week, and these are pretty nice too. These have a really nice fabric underfoot with a really sweet design, similar to the Move Game Days. They have a kind of a rigid shank going from the heel to the midfoot, but unlike the Game Days, the shank wraps entirely around the insole. You know, these just kind of stop here and here, but these wrap kind of in a 360-degree all around the foot. So they feel quite different. Also, there's a solid wedge of foam underneath the arch. So no other insole really has that, at least the ones I own. So this goes all the way down and it's a solid block of foam. It feels terrific. As you can see, the moves just have a contour. Same with the Powersteps, it's just kind of scooped out. But these have material underneath, and that feels quite different. So similar to the Move Game Days, they also have a cutout for the heel, quite a large one, so it feels quite nice when you land on your heel for when you're running or whatever. And you know, they feel really good. The arch is hard to tell from this, but the arch is a little bit higher on the Remind insoles. And you know, for those with flatter feet, might want to avoid these, just like you'd want to avoid the Powersteps. But Remind does make orthotics for flatter feet called, I think, the Destins. And I do want to try those out at some point, but you know, these are not cheap either. These cost $30, so a little bit cheaper, but I think these Remind insoles range from, you know, $30 to $50. So they make quite a broad range of products. And I do want to try out more of their stuff, because pretty happy with this, and I think with some kind of adjustment to the arch height, these can be quite good. I like the shank a lot. It provides some good stability when you're playing on court. I played last night in these and they felt great. Good like snapping feel when you run. I feel like they propel your foot forward, and I'm quite happy with these. I think in terms of my favorites, these two are probably it. It's pretty close. The Move Game Days, I think I like just a bit more than the Remind Cush Impacts, just because for me the arch on these is a little bit too high, and this arch, even though it's not a solid wedge of foam, these arches feel just a little bit more natural to me and don't seem to kind of get in my way like these do when I'm kind of moving around on court. So anyway, that's my kind of brief overview on these 4 different over-the-counter orthotics. Let me know what you think about these. If you have any of them, or if you have some of the other models made by these companies, let me know what you think. I really want to try out some more and maybe I'll make an update to this video at some point in the future. All right. Thank you guys. Goodbye.